Wearing the red coming out from the Titan Mercury Wrestling Club, that's Jaden Cox. And his opponent, Ohio State and Ohio Regional Training Center. That's Colin Moore. Jaden Cox, your #1 seed from Cliff Keen Wrestling Club and Titan Mercury, or Colin Moore from the Ohio RTC and Titan Mercury. They're doing battle here. Colin Moore, your #4 seed from Burbank, Ohio, Norwayne High School. 3-time NCAA All-American for the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Been on 3 age group world teams, finishing with a silver in U23s and a bronze in U20s with 2 of his trips. Jaden Cox from Columbia, Missouri. Hickman High School went just up the road to the University of Missouri for his college. 3-time NCAA champion and a 4-time All-American. He's a 4-time Fargo All-American, 2-time Fargo champion in his career. He's been on 5 senior world teams and 5 world team medals, 2 golds, a silver, and 2 bronze. And in his trip to the Olympic Games, an Olympic bronze medalist.
Her opponent in the blue, representing the Beaver Dam RTC and Titan Mercury, Alex Laude.
Cox had a very tough first round bout, winning 1-1 criteria. Colin Moore in deep, head behind the knee. Jaden Cox looking to pull him through for an exposure, but not able to do so. So 1:30 gone here in the period. We're going to see a second passivity here in just a moment, I'm sure, for one of our athletes to go on the activity period, unless one can score. And Jaden Cox on the attack, able to push Colin Moore to the edge for a 1-point step out. So 1-0 for Jaden Cox. Cox incredibly tactical, smart in his position. No wasted motion. I feel like sometimes I'd like to see more action, because when he attacks and when he starts to scramble, it's something special. Colin Moore called for passivity, so both athletes have a passivity call against them, which can pay dividends there in the second period. So 30 seconds to go here in period 1, 1-0 for Cox. Moore, head position, really pushing the length of Jaden Cox. He puts his hands down on the ground, not able for Colin Moore to get past those hands or his head defense. And that's the end of the period. 1-0 for Jaden Cox.
Once at U20 and once at U23.
Kevin Jackson and David Bolliard in the corner for Jaden Cox. Logan Stever, Jay Jaggers in the corner for Colin Moore. Jaden Cox, well known for being a little bit slippery, getting good sweats going out there. So our mat crew out wiping up the mat and making sure that it's not too slippery. Bolliard wiping down Jaden Cox for this second period.
Up on the board, the challenge on mat 3. Driving now with a 4-point lead on that one. 4-1 lead.
Nice attack. Low for Colin Moore, trying to get to the corner, not able to get to the angle. Again on the attack.
1-0 lead here for
Several shots for Colin Moore. But again, it's not necessarily a lack of action, it's a lack of scoring. And at this point, no score for Colin Moore. Swing single attack by Jaden Cox. Nice underhook position by Jaden Cox as he uses that underhook to work Colin Moore to the edge of the mat. And then an extra little push on the attack for the step out. So now 2-0 for Jaden Cox. Again, so smart when it comes to on the edge wrestling. Always knows where he is at every second on the mat.
3. Takedown criteria has been met. 2 points blue, challenge 1.
So here we go. 1 minute down here, period number 2. Jaden Cox, so good with that defense, with blocking with his head and hands. He really doesn't allow anyone to get past his defense to get to his legs. Moore has been the much more aggressive wrestler throughout this whole match. But the wrestling IQ of Cox, as he just olayed Colin Moore like a bull. Ankle pick, goes to a full split. Colin Moore puts Cox into danger. 2 points on the exposure, and now 2-2. No exposure on the gut wrench. So Jaden Cox with 2 1-point holds. Colin Moore with a 2-point hold. So he not only has the last point scored, but also the higher point scored, which is the first criteria. Here with 1 minute 10 seconds to go, 2-2. Colin Moore's attacks paid off as he continued to be active and continued to push the pace.
We head to the break on mat 3.
Colin Moore, one of the things he's doing really well is keeping his back to the center of the mat. Because you've seen Jaden Cox multiple times go to that underhook and work Colin Moore to the edge. Colin Moore, left hand pull, right hand pull, gets his legs away. Now he's going to look to turn the corner. But Jaden Cox looking to push. Colin Moore holding position and not allowing Jaden Cox to get to his legs or get him to the edge of the mat for a step out. So 20 seconds to go. Winner of this challenge tournament at 97 kilos will meet world medalist Kyle Snyder in the best of 3 series. And it looks like Jaden Cox is not going to make another attack. And Colin Moore, a 2-2 criteria victory. He had the higher points with a 2 and the last point scored. So Colin Moore moving to the challenge tournament final. Jaden Cox goes to bended knee.
We're tied up at 4 down on mat 3 with Trumbull holding Frank.
5-time world medalist. Talking to his coach, Olympic champion Kevin Jackson. Having a conversation maybe about what's next. And the shoes are being untied. Jaden Cox moving to the center of the mat. 4-time NCAA All-American, 3-time national champion, 5-time world medalist, 2-time world champion. And out of the respect for the sport, at the sign of retirement, athletes take their shoes off. Represented the country in so many great ways as a representative for our great sport. And we're going to see one of the greats from the United States and USA Wrestling putting his shoes in the middle of the mat, giving him a kiss, and signifying his retirement. We're blessed that we've been able to watch Jaden Cox's journey through the sport, and we thank him for all that he's done for our sport. And I'm sure that there's a lot more that he has to give to the sport besides competition. He talked to Kevin Jackson and said, I think that's what I want to do. And it's been a joy to watch Jaden Cox compete.
Alex Laude, Beaver Dam RTC, the winner on that one.